Hello everyone. Today, we will explain in detail the theme of breaking the law without knowing it. 10 rules in Japan that foreigners should be careful of. Please read to the end to make your life in Japan safer and more comfortable. Japan has its own culture and laws, and there are many rules that are different from other countries. If you act without knowing these, you may unintentionally violate the law. Understanding the rules in Japan is important not only to prevent trouble, but also to live a smooth life. In this article, we will introduce in detail the rules that foreigners should be careful of, in particular. 10 rules in Japan that foreigners should be careful of. 1. Illegal employment. Overview. Working without the appropriate residence status or engaging in work that is not permitted by the residence status is considered illegal employment. This means that not only the person himself, but also the employer may be charged with aiding illegal employment. How to prevent it? Be sure to check the work permitted by your residence status and discuss it thoroughly with your employer. If you have any questions, we recommend consulting the Immigration Bureau or an expert. Violations will be severely penalized, so it is important to check carefully in advance. In addition, it is important to clarify the scope of application of the residence status, especially when considering part-time or freelance work. 2. Bicycle traffic violations. Overview. In Japan, bicycles are treated as vehicles, so there is an obligation to follow traffic rules. Ignoring traffic signals, speeding on the sidewalk, and drunk driving are violations of the law. In addition, riding a bicycle with two people or using headphones is also considered dangerous and is subject to violations. How to prevent? Bicycles must also follow traffic rules. In particular, you are required to obey traffic signals and ride on the left side of the road. Riding on the sidewalk is prohibited in principle, so be careful. In addition, distracted driving while looking at a smartphone is strictly prohibited, and it is mandatory to turn on the headlights at night. In addition, drunk driving must be avoided at all costs, and violations may result in fines. Drive safely. In some areas, wearing a helmet is mandatory, so it is important to check the local rules. 3. Violation of garbage sorting. Overview. In Japan, garbage sorting rules are strict and different. Rules are set for each city, town, and village. If you put out garbage without proper sorting, not only will it not be collected, but you may also be penalized. In particular, plastic bottles, batteries, and home appliances require a different disposal method from regular garbage. How to prevent? Check the garbage disposal rules in your area and properly separate burnable garbage, non-burnable garbage, and recyclable garbage. It is also important to follow the garbage disposal days and times. You can check the detailed rules on the city hall or local government website. By following the garbage sorting rules, you can also contribute to environmental protection. In addition, advance reservations are often required for the disposal of large garbage, bulky garbage, so it is advisable to check the appropriate disposal method. 4. Violation of smoking rules. Overview. Smoking in public places is strictly restricted in Japan. In particular, smoking is completely prohibited in some stations, parks, and restaurants, and violations may be fined. In addition, smoking spaces are limited even in office buildings and commercial facilities, and smoking outside of smoking areas may be reported. How to prevent smoking when smoking? Always use a smoking area. If an outdoor smoking space is designated, you are required to smoke within that area. Especially in urban areas, there are many areas where smoking while walking is prohibited, and violations can result in heavy fines. In addition, the rules for electronic cigarettes are different, so it is important to check in advance. 5. Noise troubles. Overview. In Japan, awareness of noise at night is very high, and if you make a loud noise, you may receive complaints from neighbors. In particular, in apartments and condominiums, you need to be careful about the sound of the TV, talking, and playing musical instruments at night. In addition, construction noise and pet cries can also be considered problematic, and may lead to trouble between residents. How to prevent smoking? Try to be as quiet as possible after 10 p.m. It is also important to turn down the volume of the TV and open and close the door quietly. Another good way is to take measures such as laying down a soundproof mat. If you play a musical instrument, use a dedicated soundproof room or limit it to daytime hours. Especially in shared housing, sound is likely to echo, so building a good relationship with your neighbors in advance is also a key to avoiding trouble. 6. Illegal share houses and unlicensed accommodations. Overview. In Japan, private lodgings and shared houses require permission to operate. Using unlicensed accommodations can get you into trouble. In particular, some cheap accommodations aimed at tourists may not have the proper permission. and may be in violation of the law. How to prevent this? Make sure the accommodation is operated legally in advance. In particular, when using private lodgings such as Airbnb, it is important to check whether the facility has a business license. Check the license list on the official website of the local government, and choose a safe and legal place to stay. Also, when using a shared house, it is important to carefully check the contract to make sure the management company has followed the appropriate procedures. 7. Possession and use of illegal drugs. Overview. In Japan, the laws regarding illegal drugs such as marijuana and narcotics are very strict, and possession, use, and sale are all crimes. In particular, tourists and short-term visitors who unknowingly possess illegal drugs will be strictly controlled, so caution is required. Strict inspections are carried out at airports and ports in Japan against the bringing in of illegal drugs, and the act of bringing them in from abroad is also a crime. How to prevent? Never get involved with illegal drugs. Even if they are legal in other countries, they are strictly controlled in Japan, and you may be arrested. In particular, even if a drug is legally prescribed overseas, it may contain ingredients that are illegal in Japan, so you should be careful when bringing medicines. If you bring prescription drugs, we recommend that you check the guidelines of the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare in Japan in advance and apply for them if necessary. It is also important to never accept drugs offered to you by strangers at clubs or parties. 8. Violation of etiquette on public transportation. Overview. On Japanese trains and buses, you are expected to stay quiet. Talking loudly or talking on a cell phone is considered bad etiquette and may cause discomfort to those around you. In addition, spreading your luggage too much or using a seat inappropriately during crowded times can also be problematic. In addition, there are certain rules regarding nuisance behavior in stations and how to use escalators, so be careful. How to prevent? Be careful of the volume of your conversations on the train, and set your cell phone to silent mode. It is also advisable to avoid talking on the phone near priority seats. When it is crowded, be considerate of those around you, such as by carrying your backpack in front of you. It is also important not to occupy a seat, cross your legs, or spread your luggage too wide. On escalators, there is a custom of leaving the right or left side free, depending on the region, so please use it according to the flow of the people around you. 9. Violation of the law concerning drinking. Overview. In Japan, drinking by minors and drinking on the street is regulated by law. In addition, drunken behavior in public places can also be considered a problem. Furthermore, when selling high-alcohol drinks in Japan, age verification is mandatory, and you may be asked to show identification when purchasing. Violent and destructive behavior while intoxicated is severely punished, so you are expected to drink in moderation. How to prevent? You should avoid drinking until you reach the legal age 20 years old. Also, try to behave in a moderate manner in public places to prevent trouble caused by drinking too much. When drinking alcohol, it is important to be moderate, and be careful not to cause trouble to those around you. Be sure to follow drinking etiquette at izakayas and bars, and be careful not to get too drunk and get into trouble. It is also important to drink plenty of fluids and rest after drinking, so that the effects of alcohol do not linger the next day. 10. Expired visa or residence status. Overview. To stay in Japan, you need an appropriate visa or residence status. If you stay with an expired visa, you will be punished for staying illegally. Long-term stays on short-term visas are not permitted, and you may be penalized if you stay beyond the period of your stay. In addition, it takes a certain amount of time to renew your residence status, so you need to prepare well in advance. How to prevent? Regularly check the expiration date of your passport and residence card, and if you need to renew, complete the procedure early. It is also important to check the Immigration Services Agency's website and prepare the necessary documents. In addition, depending on the type of visa, there may be restrictions on working, so if you want to work during your stay, you need to obtain the appropriate visa in advance. If you wish to change or extend your residence status, follow the appropriate procedure and act in a planned manner so as not to exceed the expiration date. Summary. If you unknowingly violate the law, it can have a major impact on your life and stay in Japan. Be sure to understand the 10 rules we introduced this time and be aware of how to avoid trouble. In particular, since Japanese laws have many differences from other countries, it is important to follow the rules of Japan without thinking, "It's okay because it's allowed in my country." There are many rules that foreigners are not familiar with, but by learning in advance, you can live a more comfortable life. It is also important to understand the differences in culture and customs and value communication with the people around you. In Japan, following the rules is necessary to maintain order in society as a whole. And you are required to be aware of the impact that your individual actions have on others. Even minor violations of manners can lead to unexpected trouble, so be careful in your daily actions. I hope that this information will be useful so that you can spend a safe and comfortable time in Japan. If you found it useful, please like and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.